Hello friends. Today I have for you a little bit of a faster paced, more strength focused class. I hope it will get your blood pumping and get you warmed up and feeling energized. Things you might need for class today would be some blocks. If you don't have a yoga block, if you can find anything around the same size as a yoga block, that will definitely be sturdy and safe for you to put your weight on. That'll do. And let's get going. We are actually going to start today's class in child's pose. So coming down to your mat, allowing your hips to sit back onto your heels, arms extend out in front of you. Relax. You can go wide with your legs or narrow, and just relax down into the mat, allowing your head to rest on the mat. And while we're here, just start to slowly deepen your breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. If you'd like to set an intention for today's class, now would be a great time. That might be just a word or something to focus on. When you're ready, feel your fingertips pressed against the floor. We're actually going to start to walk them to the side of your mat, starting with your right side. Walk your fingertips as far over as they comfortably reach until you start to feel a little bit of a stretch through your left arm and your left side of your body. And take a nice deep breath here. Take one more deep breath, and on your next exhale, slowly walk your fingertips back towards the center of your mat and continue on all the way over to the left side. This time feeling a nice gentle stretch through the right side of your body all the way down from your hand maybe to your hips. And nice deep breaths. On your next exhale, you can fingertip walk your hands back to the center of the mat. And take one more nice deep breath here. And now pressing into your palms, rise up into tabletop position. So from here, we're just going to start by doing some gentle neck rolls from side to side, as fast or as slow as feels good for you. When you're next passing through center, you can stay in neutral. And we're going to move that movement down our spine with some cat-cow. So as you inhale, send your gaze upwards and your belly down to the ground, arching your back into cow pose. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, curl your tailbone, send your chin to chest, and come into cat pose, spine arching upwards towards the sky. From here, start linking your movement to your breath. So as you inhale, send your gaze up, belly down into cow pose. And as you exhale, curl your tailbone down, gaze down, cat pose, continuing that on the pace of your own breath. Nice. We'll do a couple more. And when you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. Great. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of core work. Sending your weight into your right hand and left leg. Allow your left arm and right leg to come off the mat and extend out away from you. Hold here for a moment, and we're going to do some crunches. So bring your elbow to knee under you. Hold here, engaging your abs, and exhale, release back out. Inhale, crunch elbow to knee. Exhale, extending arm and leg far away from you. Continuing this also on your own breath. Inhale, reach nice and long and strong. Exhale, crunch in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Nice job. Let's do two more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Hold this one for one full breath while you're crunched in here. Great. And release back to the ground. Setting up for the same thing, opposite side. Now we'll be able to lift our right arm and left leg, send them out nice and long and strong. Take a breath here. Find your balance. And on your next exhale, we will crunch elbow to knee. Inhale, extend long. Exhale, crunch inward. Extend. Crunch. Extend. Exhale. Knee to elbow. Again, continuing this at your own pace. Let's do three more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Reach. Crunch. Last one. Stay strong. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Beautiful. And let's hold that one. One deep breath here. And exhale your hand and leg back down to the mat. Beautiful. From here, flip your toes, set up for downward facing dog, and press into your feet, sending your hips up and back, pressing the mat away with your hands all the way strong through your shoulders. Downward facing dog. Feel free to walk out your dog here, add some movement, whatever feels good for you. Take a moment and focus on your hands, making sure you're evenly pressing through all 10 fingers in both palms. And when you're ready, send your gaze up between your hands and slowly walk your feet up to the top of your mat to meet your hands. Beautiful. From here, allow your legs to bend and come into a rag doll. Head and neck hanging heavy, arms
can grab the opposite elbows. You can even add a little bit of sway. And pressing firmly through the feet, releasing your hands, rise up to standing. Arms sweep up all the way above your head, gazing through your fingertips, extended mountain pose. Nice and strong. And exhale, hands come down to your sides. All right. For the next little bit, we're going to be working on some sun salutations to really get our blood pumping. You'll probably start to feel some warmth really going through your body. You haven't had that yet. So we're going to work our way through them slow first, and then we'll go the next time through connecting our movements to our breaths, just like we've been doing. So standing nice and tall and strong in mountain pose, feet firmly on the ground, weight spread evenly through all four corners of both feet. Take a deep breath. And as you inhale, sweep your arms up above your head, extended mountain, gaze through your fingertips. Next, as you sweep your arm down, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Allow your knees to bend if they need it. Next, we're going to bring our hands to our shins or the mat and rise halfway up in our forward fold at this point where we have our back on our spine completely straight. So sending our energy from the crown of our head away from our legs, nice and long and strong spine. This is our halfway lifted position. Now exhale, fold back down, place your hands on the mat, and step back into downward facing dog. From here, send your gaze forward. Bring your hips down and allow your shoulders to come forward so they're over your wrists. And from here, we're going to lower down to our belly. You can do that straight through chaturanga, or you can also bring your knees down to the mat, lowering down, where we'll have our hands under our shoulders or slightly back, coming up for upward facing dog, engaging your legs, pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. And we'll curl our toes, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog, and we'll spend a couple of breaths here. Movement is, as always, perfectly okay in your downward facing dog. Sending your gaze back to your hands, we're going to step slowly our way back up to meet our hands. And come back to that halfway lifted position. Spine nice and long, crown of the head reaching forward. And relax and fold all the way down. Pressing firmly through your feet, rise back up, arms sweep over the head, all the way up towards the sky, extended mountain, and exhale. Hands come to heart center or sweep down to your side, and that is our sun salutation. So, I'm going to do that one more time, bringing a little bit more speed, connecting every individual breath to a movement. Inhale, sweep your arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, rise, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, hips down, shoulders over hands. Exhale, lower down to your belly. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, curl the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. We'll spend a couple of breaths here. Pushing that mat away, nice and strong through our long, straight spine. If you have a bend in your legs, that's perfectly all right. We want to focus on the long spine in downward facing dog. Sending your gaze to your hands, step or even hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Reach your hands, come up to that halfway lifted position, and exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing firmly through the feet, rise up, arms above your head, extended mountain. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Starting to feel some warmth, hopefully. We're going to take it a step further now with Sun Salutation B. So again, we're going to go slow through the first one, and this has a few extra poses from the last one we just did, and then we'll take it again with our breath. So I'm going to go quickly through the parts that we've done and slower when we do some additions. So inhale, rise up, extended mountain. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Here, we're going to pause. So here's where we add some stuff in. On this inhale, send your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. And exhale, step your foot up between your hands. Find your balance. You can always feel free to spread your feet a little bit wider, right to left, to get more balance in any standing pose. And when you're ready, press firmly through your feet and rise up into a crescent lunge. The back ball of the foot is on the ground, your heel is up, nice and long and strong through the back leg. And our front leg is bent, knee over ankle. Arms can be at your side, at your heart center, or even up. Beautiful. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, bring your hands back to the mat and step back. Bringing your leg back up towards the sky, three-legged dog, and back down to regular downward facing dog. Great. From here, we're going to inhale, come forward to the high plank, so hips down, and exhale, lower to your belly. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, curl the toes, downward facing dog. So now here for the left side, inhale your left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, crunch your leg up, place it between your hands. Again, take a moment, get yourself situated, balanced out. Press firmly through both feet, and when you're ready, rise up. Arms taking whatever you choose from those options again. And don't forget to breathe when we're in any of these standing poses. When you're ready, hinge back at your hips, plant your hands down around your feet, and step back, sending your left foot up and back again, three-legged dog, and release it back, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. When you're ready, shift your gaze up to your hands and slowly walk or hop your feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise nice and strong through extended mountain. Exhale, release. Great, how you doing? Keeping up, ready for one more time? So this time, fully through Sun Salutation B. Mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, lower to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, send your right leg up and back. Exhale, step it between your hands. Inhale, nice and strong, rise up. Exhale, lower back down, hands frame your foot. Step back, Raise your right leg in downward facing dog, three-legged dog. Put your leg back down. Great. Take a breath here. Now inhale, rise forward, high plank. Exhale, lower to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, send the left leg up and back. Exhale, step forward between your hands. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. Inhale, leg goes up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, come back to that regular downward facing dog and take a few breaths here. When you're ready, gazing back at your hands, step or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Rise, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, pressing through your feet. Rise, extended mountain. Exhale, release your hands back down. Beautiful. All right, give yourself a little bit of a shake. Did a lot of work right there. Be feeling a little bit warmer, getting your blood pumping, muscles moving, ready to move on. So let's from here, exhale and forward fold. Plant your hands and step back, downward facing dog. Send your right leg high and step it up between your hands, prepping similarly that we just did for a crescent lunge, except this time allow your back knee to come to the mat and the top of your foot to rest on the top of the mat, setting up for a low lunge. So again, whenever you are ready and you have your balance, feel yourself slowly rise up. Low lunge. And feel free with your low lunge to definitely move your foot around and find the exact right spot. It can be hard to step into the right position for this one. You can have your hands resting on the mat beside you, also on your blocks or anything you have to support, on your knee, or anywhere in the positions we've talked about previously. Here's your low lunge. Taking a few breaths here. All right, and when you're ready, plant your hands back down if they're not already there, and send your hips back. Straighten out your front leg for a half split. Now, if your leg doesn't straighten all the way, not an issue. Just feel for that stretch in the back of your front leg. And breathe here. If you're feeling the stretch, any part of your muscles of your leg, that's great. That's what we're going for. If you're feeling any pain at any point through any joints, especially your knees, definitely bend your knee a little bit, back off. That intense, feeling in your muscles, not usually a problem, but any pain, especially coming from a joint, you always want to take attention to that and probably back off. When you're ready, you can either stay here or can lift our hands, rise up, and we're gonna go back and forth between the low lunge, sending your hips forward, and our half split. Hips come back. Beautiful. Bending forward. On your own pace, take a few cycles here, back and forth. Now, next time you find yourself in your low lunge, curl your toes under, plant your hands, rise back up into a higher lunge, and plant your hands firmly. Bring your foot back, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And now bring your knees down. Send your hips back over your feet. Child's pose. Again, anytime we're in child's pose, feel free to have your knees close together or wide, whatever works for you. Now pressing firmly through your hands, rise back up through tabletop, all the way up to downward facing dog. From here, inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, plant your foot between your hands. Come back to this crescent lunge, rise up, same thing as before. Hands can find whatever position you'd like. We find ourselves back in crescent lunge. Only this time from here, we're going to shift to warrior two. So what's going to happen, you're going to open up to your left, keeping your front leg bent, allowing your back heel to pivot down onto the mat. Foot parallel to the back of your mat. Arms stretch out, nice and long and strong in front and behind you. Gaze over your fingertips. And breathe. Take one more deep breath. And then with your back left hand, finding either your leg or your back, we're going to go for reverse warrior. Sweep your right arm up and over, following it with your gaze. Reverse warrior. Feeling a stretch in the front right side of your body. Inhale here. And exhale back to warrior two. And whenever you're ready, find your balance, picking your heel up, shifting back on to our crescent lunge. Great. One breath here, maybe sink a little bit deeper into your front leg. And on your next exhale, hinge forward, frame your foot with your hands, and step back, downward facing dog. Let's put our knees down, hips back, child's pose once more. All right, how y'all feeling? Let's go and do that all again now on our left side. So pressing firmly back up through tabletop, curling your toes all the way back, downward facing dog. This time, inhale your left leg up and back. Exhale, crunch, step it between your hands. Make any adjustments for your stance you need, and let your back right knee come to the mat for a low lunge. Take your time, get yourself situated, nice and balanced before you rise up. Bring your arms again onto your leg, onto a block, or all the way up. And breathe. If you feel any discomfort in your back knee that's on the mat, you can always grab any piece of cloth, a small pillow, or even roll your mat up to give yourself a little bit of padding there. This can be a little bit uncomfortable on your knee. One more deep breath here. And as you exhale, bring your hands back down and shift your hips back, straightening your left leg, half split. Again, bending your knee if you feel anything uncomfortable in your knee joint. While you're here, you can also play with how far back you're sending your hips and how far up or down you are folding your torso. To Play with the difficulty, the strength of this split. Now again, you can hang out here, or again, can rise up and shift back and forth between our low lunge and half split at your own pace. All right, if there are any wobbles, always working on balance. Beautiful. Alternating between this feeling of stretch through your back leg, the back of your front leg in your half split, and the front of your back leg in your low lunge. Next time you find yourself in your low lunge, plant your hands, flip your back toes, rise up, knee off the mat, and firmly press down, stepping back into downward facing dog. Bring your knees down. Take a moment in child's pose. All right, and pressing back into your palms, rise up through tabletop, back to downward facing dog. One last time. You're doing amazing. Almost through this flow section. Nice and strong. So inhale your left foot up and back, and exhale, step between your hands, find your balance, and rise up once more into crescent lunge. Legs nice and long and strong, pressing into the ground and away from each other. Nice deep breaths. Once again, coming into warrior two, I'm going to pivot open to the right, allowing your right foot, your right heel to spiral down onto the mat. Warrior two. And when you're ready, you're going to finish that spiraling motion, bringing your right hand to leg or behind your back, sweeping your left arm up and back, following it with your gaze. Reverse warrior. One deep breath here. And exhale back to warrior two. And keeping your balance, rising onto your back toes, pivoting forward, back to crescent lunge. One final breath here. And as you exhale, hinge forward, plant your hands beside your foot, step back, downward facing dog. We'll take one final child's pose for this section. Beautiful. When you're ready, find your way back to downward facing dog. Shift your gaze to your hands and step or hop your way up to the top of your mat. And let's take a ragdoll. Taking a nice deep bend in your legs, allowing your torso to fold over and rest fully on your thighs. Head and neck hang heavy. If you'd like to have a little sway here. And pressing firmly through your feet, release your arms, rise up nice and strong. Extended mountain. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. Give yourself a little shake out. Done a lot of work. Got some more coming.
So next thing we're going to do, I like to call skier squats. So staying in that mountain position, or returning to that mountain position, find yourself nice and balanced and strong, weight evenly spread. Find a moment here and raise your arms for extended mountain. Energy flowing up through your fingers, stretching long and strong. And when you're ready, allow both your knees and your hips to bend. Come into a partial squat here and bring your arms, sweep them back behind you. You're in this kind of a skier position, right? With your poles behind you. Inhale, rise back up, extended mountain. We're actually going to go back and forth now a few times. So exhale, skier. Inhale, rise up, extended mountain. Exhale, skier. Nice, and keep going. Extended mountain on your own pace with your breath. Back and forth. Feel that strength through your legs. Beautiful. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, skier. Inhale, mountain, last one. Exhale, skier. Beautiful. And come back up into mountain pose. Relax your legs. Take a moment here. We're going to take that one more time. This time, if that wasn't enough for you, feel free to add a little bit of a challenge in by coming up on your toes and staying there the whole time. So now not only you're getting that workout in, you're getting the strength needed in your legs, but you are requiring your feet and ankles to do lots of extra work balancing you. So whether you're on your toes or flat feet, we're going to go one more time. So inhale your arms up, extended mountain. And exhale, bend at your knees and hips, skier. Good. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, skier. Beautiful. Again, going on your own pace along with your breath. Staying nice and strong. Great job. Let's do 2 more. When you're ready, come back to standing. If you ever feel a little shake, especially if you're on your toes. Beautiful. Now, turning to the side of your mat, we're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So either step or heel toe your feet into a wide stance, keeping your feet parallel with the sides of your mat. If you need your knees to bend, that's all right. Take a moment and prepare here. Placing your hands on your hips. Inhale to prepare, send the crown of your head up nice and long and strong. And exhale, hinge at your hips with a straight back, folding forward as far as you can go with a straight back and stop where you stick. If you need to bend your knees, keep them there. And as you exhale, relax all the way down, allow your back to bend, forward fold. I always love when I'm in a wide leg forward fold to take a moment and bending, alternating legs, stretching into the inside of the straight leg. But you can also just keep it a static pose, up to you. Take one more deep breath here. Place your hands back on your hips. When you're ready, inhale, press firmly into your feet. Rise back up to standing, keeping your feet where they are. Beautiful. Now, again, legs are staying where they are. We're just going to pivot our toes out to the side as far as they comfortably go. Your knees will probably bend more here if they haven't been yet. We're going to set up for a goddess pose. So, same thing as before. Inhale, crown of the head is nice and long. Exhale, this time we're just going to bend into both legs, coming into goddess pose. If you want to support with your hands on your thighs, that's a great option. Hands can also be at heart center or even up. And breathe. Especially in difficult poses, you want to remember to not hold your breath. One more breath here. Nice and strong, pressing your feet into the mat. And exhale, rise back up. Feel free to release your legs, stretch them back out a little bit. We're gonna go for that one more time. So when you're ready, coming back into that wide leg position, toes turned out, setting up for goddess pose. Again, if you'd like even more of a challenge, especially with balance, you can come back up onto your toes again for this portion. So on your toes are the same as we just did, flat on your feet. Inhale, rise to prepare, and exhale, sink deeply into your goddess pose. Beautiful. If you are shaking, embrace it. You're doing lots of work. One more deep breath here. Maybe sink a little bit lower. And exhale, rise back up. Amazing job. Give your legs one more shake. Doing lots of work for us. All right. Next, we have eagle pose. So standing in mountain, send your weight to your right leg so you can bring your left leg off the mat. Cross your left leg over your right leg. Now, left leg over right, so right arm is going to come over left. Always confusing to remember which way. Arms at 90 degrees, shoulders and elbows, backs of your palms together. This is our eagle pose. If you'd like, think back to our squatted position in skier. You can add a bend to your knee here, just the same. Beautiful, eagle pose. Gazing forward. If you're having difficulty balancing, make sure you find a focal point you can focus on about 10 feet in front of you. One more deep breath. And exhale, straighten out if you're bent. Untangle your arms and legs. Great job. Same thing now on the left side. So mountain pose. Sending your weight into your left leg. Cross right leg over left leg, which means left arm crosses over right arm. Beautiful. Backs of hands pressing together, resisting each other. Feel it gently in your shoulders. And again, bending at the knees and hips if you'd like the challenge. Feeling your ankle doing all of this work to balance you, right? Inhale here. And on your next exhale, release all of these twists. Beautiful. How are you feeling? We're nearing the end of our class today. Might be working up a little bit of a sweat. Hopefully feeling great. So coming back to the front of our mats, we're going to set up for our last little standing sequence, which is based on Warrior 1. So we've done Warrior 2 today, where we're open out to the side. Warrior 1, on the other hand, is a very straightforward pose. So with your hands, find your hip bones on both sides and notice that they're square to the front of your mat. This is the position that we want them to stay in for the whole pose. So keep that in mind. We're going to keep our hands on our hips. Now, when we step back to set up for Warrior 1, most people will take a pretty large step like we do for Crescent Lunge or Warrior 2, but I want you to try taking a much smaller step than you think. Warrior 1 is often a very short pose. So when you step, keep extra focus on your hip bones, keeping them square like the headlights on a car pointing directly forward. Send your weight to your right foot, just like we did in eagle pose, and send your left foot back for warrior one. Toes should be pointed slightly out to the left towards the corner of your mat. And like I said, I take a very narrow warrior one stance. Find the stance that allows you to feel a gentle stretch in your back leg. Notice if you're twisting your hips at all. If you did that on your way back, you can come back to the front of your mat and do it again, keeping those hips pointed forward. Beautiful. Now to complete this full pose, we're gonna bring your hands to heart center or up and slowly bend into your front leg, warrior one, feeling a nice stretch through your back leg. Beautiful, nice and strong. One more breath here. As you exhale, straighten your front leg, keep your feet where they are. We're gonna set up now for pyramid pose. Just keeping your hands back on your hips. We're gonna do another forward fold with a straight spine. So inhale, rise up to prepare, crown of the head lifts up, and exhale, hinge at the hips as far forward as you can. It might not be very far. Pyramid pose is a very tight pose for many people. Take a breath here. And when you exhale, release, allow your spine to bend and come as far down as you can. If you need to grab your leg or a block or whatever support you have, that's perfectly all right. And if you're feeling any pain in the back of your knee, again, give it a little bend. Not a problem. Breathe here and relax. I like to think nose to knee in this pose eventually. It's where we're reaching, but you certainly don't have to be there today. On your next exhale, press nice and strong through your front foot and rise back up. Hands come back to hips, keeping them nice and straight. And when you're ready, bend into your front leg and step back up to mountain pose. Beautiful. Same thing on the other side. In mountain, shifting your weight to your left. Bring your hands to your hips to keep them pointed nice and straight forward, and step back your right leg. When you're ready, bring your hands to wherever you're choosing for this pose and sink into the bend in your front leg, keeping your hips still pointed forward. And breathe. Great, and on your next exhale, straighten back up through your front leg, keeping your legs where they are. Prepare for pyramid pose, folding forward. So inhale to prepare, spine nice and long, and exhale, hinging at the hips, keeping them square. Fold with a straight spine until you stick. Take a breath here. And on your exhale, fold all the way forward. Allow your back to bend, draping over your front leg. Nose to knee eventually. Take note, even when we're down in this pose, that your hips aren't swaying to the side. One more deep breath here. And exhale, hands to hips, press firmly through the feet, rise up. Right? Keeping your balance, allow a bend in the front leg. Step back up, mountain pose. Wiggling your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up nice and high. Exhale, forward fold. Planting your hands on the mat. Step back all the way
to your belly. Make your way there. From here, we're gonna release our back a little bit by coming to Sphinx pose. So here, you might need to move a little bit once you figure out where we're going, but forearms come to the mat. Try to have your elbow directly under your shoulder. Forearms to the mat, palms down, pressing nice and firm, tops of feet into the mat, and rise up, Sphinx pose, pressing strongly through your shoulders. Beautiful. Nice deep breaths. If you're comfortable in this pose, maybe think about adding some resistance in your shoulders by very slightly pressing your arms back towards your torso. Adding some resistance. Great. Notice how that changes the experience of the pose. Now releasing back down to your belly. Find your way up through tabletop. Cross your feet at your ankles and come all the way over onto your back. Mindfully, slowly lowering your spine down to lie on your back. Take your time here. Done a lot of great work today. Time to let it sink in. Before we end in Shavasana here, bring your feet to the mat, allowing your knees to bend. Hug your knees all the way up to your belly. And give yourself a gentle rock back and forth, feeling how that changes the experience on your back, on the floor, your hips. Keeping your knees where they are, flex your feet and allow them to come up so they're pointed at the sky. Reaching with your hands for the outside of your foot or your leg. Grab onto your foot or leg and gently pull your knees down. If you run out of space and you're running into your torso, allow your knees to come wide towards your armpits and gently pull your knees down. Happy baby. If you'd like, as always, you can add some movement here. Rock slowly back and forth, alternating, pulling one leg more than the other. Now very slowly release your feet from your hands and hug your knees back into your chest. Placing your arms out wide, either straight out to the side, or you can do goalpost arms. We're going to do one final little twist here. So allow your legs, knees together, to fall to one side, having a gentle twist in your spine. Gaze over the opposite shoulder. If this is a little too intense, you can always place your block or supporting object under your knees so they don't go quite as far with gravity. When you're ready, keep your arms nice and strong against the ground and return your legs back to neutral. Now allowing them to fall over, same thing on the other side. Gaze over the opposite shoulder.
When you're ready, return to center. Give your knees one last hug. And then bring your feet back to the ground, extending your legs long for Shavasana. And you can take whatever version of Shavasana you prefer, whether your arms are out at your side, palms up, like in mountain pose, but on your back. Arms can be out wide in a goalpost arms, whatever works for you. I like to rest my arms on my stomach sometimes. And if you haven't yet, you can go ahead and close your eyes and send all your attention inward. Feel the ground supporting you, pressing back up on your body everywhere you're touching the ground. Take this time, really notice how you're feeling. Notice if you feel particularly different than you did at the beginning of class. Now allowing your attention to shift back towards your breath. Feeling your chest rise and fall. Slowly start to bring some movement into your body by wiggling your fingers and toes. Maybe rotating your wrists and ankles. Letting that movement spread. When you're ready, bend your knees and hug your knees back up to your chest. And this time, allow your body to tip over to one side. Using the strength of your arms, press yourself up back into a seat. Blink your eyes open slowly. Just take one more nice deep breath here. And I hope you're feeling nice and calm and like you just did a lot of great work. Thank you for joining me today on your mat. Namaste.